Welcome, everybody. It's Chris here, your favorite visual snow guy. Today, we're going to be doing a weird video. First of all, I apologize for my webcam quality. I'm using my old webcam, which is freaking terrible, so I apologize for that. But the main thing you're looking at right now is actually a guy with his muscles easily seen. And what I can do is, it's kind of fun. I can drag this thing up or down, and I can show you more or less muscles, which is really, really cool, because I can try to show you guys what's going on, maybe, with weird muscle interactions going on with your posture. So why is this important, though? Well, the main thing that I want to point out is that me personally, I have a personal thing with this, is that neck stretching in general, posture work in general, has helped my visual snow. It has not cured it, but has helped me greatly. If you look at the Visual Snow subreddit, you look at the top 100 posts, you read a lot of the stories of people being positive and saying that they've gotten better. The number one thing that has helped people has not been drugs, it's not been meditation, it has been neck stuff. I'm going to say stuff because it's like stretching, exercising, posture, other things. Like it's a lot of stuff. But neck stretching is the main one. Yoga. Neck stretching is the main one in addition to yoga. And I wanted to kind of touch on why it is still the number one reason it has helped people, but why there's so many people that say it has done nothing for them. In fact, it's maybe even made visual snow worse. Maybe going to a chiropractor made it worse for you. Like, why is that happening? So I want to point out that I am not going to answer that many questions today, as much as I'm going to pose questions for you to say, does that make sense to you? If it does make sense to you, it does make sense to you in your situation, maybe you should think about doing something like this. Neck stretching, neck posture work, yoga stuff, and that kind of stuff. But why doesn't it work for everybody? Because it's too complicated. It's too complicated. I know that sucks, but if you think about most muscles, you've got a muscle that contracts and the other one loosens, or you could tighten this one and loosen this one. It's like a it's a one-step thing here, basically. You know, one side gets bigger, one side gets smaller, and you could do the exact same motion all the way through. But with the neck and jaw, it's not like that at all. There is not one muscle that's contracting and the other one's loosening. It's literally sometimes 5, 10, a dozen muscles all working together in a weird way. When you talk, you're moving like literally easily a dozen muscles. You're moving all of your hyoid muscles, you're moving your tongue muscle, you're moving all of your mouth muscles, you're moving like dozens of muscles all at the same time. It's very complicated. Very, very complicated. So I guess what I want you guys to see really quickly is I want you to understand how complicated it is and why this could end up being an issue and why it's so hard to solve. Okay, so look in here nice and deep. Just kind of look at this guy's spine. Like if we zoom in really, really far, you can see that there's a lot of muscles. And this might creep some people out that you can know. You have like all these muscles attached in your spine or whatnot. But like this is what's going on the back of your neck. Okay, it's not one or two. A lot of people look at this and they're like, yeah. Like I know that I got my sternocleidomastoid. I know that I've got like my masseter. You know, I know I've got my temporalis. Like those are the easy muscles. But what about what's going on back here? Look at this mess. But on the spine, how do you just fix this? How do you just say yes? All I need to do is I need to tighten up every single one of these muscles. I need to loosen every single one of these muscles back here. You know, this weirdo thing right here. Like, how do you know what you're supposed to be doing, and how do you specifically work out just that muscle or just stretch that muscle? It's near impossible. Okay, maybe you can do it to some of the more superficial muscles that are out close to the outside of your body. Like, for example, we can unhide all these muscles, and you can see we have a lot more muscles that are actually outside of those areas, and I can easily hide them as well. Like I could just go like this and hide them, and you can go back and see all those muscles back inside there. But a lot of people will focus on the muscles that you can see and or touch. They'll say, hey, just massage your masseter. If you massage your masseter and you loosen this puppy up, you're going to have a great time. If you just massage and or loosen up your temporalis, boom shazoom, Easy as cake, man. We can loosen this puppy up, which is basically oddly hidden, like underneath your skull bone right here, which is kind of fun. You can see the skull bone that goes like around your eye and whatnot, which also attaches in weird ways to your mouth and stuff. But this isn't really a chewing muscle. This is like your facial muscles that you're mostly seeing here. And then you're going to notice that you've got your deep masseter muscle as well, which not a lot of people even know exists because they hear masseter and they're like, oh, crap, there's one muscle. No, it's actually two. This thing in here is actually huge, right? Which is kind of weird, and it's kind of hidden beneath your salivary gland, which you might be accidentally massaging too much because you have your salivary gland right there in between all of your nerves and everything. Like, it's like, whoa, this stuff's more complicated than I thought. And that's before you even get to your jawbone itself, right? And you can even like touch your jawbone, like you can touch it, right? But you might not be able to touch it everywhere because you're like, oh yeah, there's actually a lot of muscles and salivary glands and stuff in the way. And then inside of the mandible, you've got other muscles that are all going to attach, like for example, one of the pterygoid muscles here. And again, I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. I'm just pointing out like the complicatedness of how this is all working together in weird ways for you to talk. So if we get rid of this, we get rid of the masseter deep on this side. Again, same exact thing. You're going to see all these things connected in weird ways. You can even go into the weird muscles that do weird things that you don't even think about, like the styloglossus that works with your tongue. You can see it goes all the way back and attaches in weird ways back here. You're like, whoa, I didn't realize my tongue muscle was like 5 inches long or whatever. That's insane. Kind of. So anyways, one thing I want to talk about really quickly as well is just discussing the hyoid bone. So if you go down here, you can actually click on the hyoid bone. This is a weird bone that's supposed to be almost even with your jaw in general. If it's actually in the right place, it's supposed to also be like randomly tilted up a little bit. Some people's can be higher or lower based on what's going on because it's the only bone that is not connected to another bone in your entire body. You might have heard of this with the Epstein thing because you're like, oh, he had a broken hyoid bone. What's going on with that thing? How can you break a hyoid bone when it's not connected to any other bones? And also protected very well. It's like near the inside of your body, like it's kind of weird. You can barely see the tip here. But interestingly enough, this thing's connected in a lot of ways to a lot of different muscles. For example, you can see all of these little, tiny, I don't want to say tiny muscles, but like smaller muscles coming out of this thing. These are all attached directly to the hyoid. And you can see, like, even weirder than that, they're attached literally all the way through to the back of your shoulder almost. Like insanity that is attached to your jaw. Right? Does that not amaze you? This is a jaw-related muscle that's like pulling your jaw possibly back in a weird way that you didn't even realize. On top of the fact that it's just wiggling its way through other muscles over here, like underneath the sternocleidomastoid, through this other things that's literally right around your veins and stuff. Imagine if the thing was just way too tight for no reason. How do you stretch it? And how do you stop it from doing something bad? Like, how? It's very tricky to know. That's my main point, okay? In addition to that, we should talk about the main muscle right here, which is sternocleidomastoid, SCM. Again, I'm not an expert. You can look up a lot more about this muscle, but it's really, really, really important. And it's also really tricky to know what to do with it because at first I thought, I just need to loosen it up, right? I got to loosen this puppy up. If I loosen this up, I'm going to loosen up all the other muscles around it, and that worked for a while until I loosened it up too much. I didn't strengthen it at all, and my head was like slopping the wrong way. I was like I had worse posture from this muscle because it's one of the bigger muscles in the head and neck. It's like huge. It attaches to the back of your skull here, goes all the way down, attaches to two different bones here. It can attach to both your sternum and to your clavicle here. So like you can literally feel it too. So like that's the cool thing. You can literally massage it and touch it and stuff. And a lot of people just like, oh yeah, just touch it, massage it, do what you got to do. You can literally like go around it if you want to. So it's a weird muscle, but it's hard to know what to do with it. I don't have an answer for you. I just want you to know that it's a very difficult to know if you should be stretching it, you should be strengthening it, you should be doing something else to it. I don't know. Generally, I would assume that if you have forward head posture, then it's probably, believe it or not, actually gotten weak, and also it has gotten shorter. So you have to strengthen it and elongate it, which is probably one of the weirdest things ever because that's like the opposite of what you would think to do with a muscle like that. But I don't know for sure. I don't know. It's just me guessing. But then once you get underneath that thing, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, look at all these muscles here literally attaching in like multiple different ways, attaching to each one of these individual vertebrae over here, specifically C1 over here, which is definitely the most important vertebrae in your body. And if we go underneath some of these muscles, we can go back and see what we saw like right at the very beginning here, all these muscles all attached together here, and how that is connected to, let's see if we can click on it right. I don't know if we can see it properly. I think this is it right here. Yeah, the stylohyoid. Did you know you had a muscle that not only goes from your hyoid bone all the way up to basically near the back of your skull here, but it's also really, 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 really important for making sure your jaw is in the right orientation and position. Like, what the heck? How? And you can't specifically get like a massage on it. It's too deep. I mean, look how deep it is. How do you massage this? How do you know exactly which one to touch? How do you know what to get to? It's really, really tricky. And here's the digastric, another one that goes directly to your hyoid bone here. And also, it has a, it's got like two bellies, I think is what it's called. It also attaches like up to the front of your chin here as well. So just a lot going on just across the board here with all this stuff. So what do you do? I guess that's the question here. What do you do to fix all this stuff? And again, I don't really have an answer for you. I think the best thing you can do is go to a physical therapist and see if they can help you work on your posture and work on it from the bottom up. If you have feet problems, your feet are too far in, too far out, or if you have too high arched feet or too flat of feet, fix that. Do the best you can. Believe it or not, you can strengthen muscles in your feet to change the orientation a little bit and or fix it with like different shoes and stuff like that. Then you probably want to work on something with your hips, because if your hips are doing better, you can start to get into a better alignment with the rest of your body. And I again, this is important because a lot of people are like, well, neck. Just focus on the neck. But let's say you did fix your complete and utter neck posture to be 100% perfect. Okay. When you get down to your hips, if your hips are doing something wrong, well, then you're like, well, I'm just making a weird, like if my hips are wrong, but my neck is perfectly straight up, maybe this is straight, like that's not correct though. So what your brain going to do is going to compensate. It's going to compensate some weird way to make you do something else. And you might like bend your back down and do your hips forward. And that's exactly what's happening normally. For the past 20 to 30 years, you've slowly just gone off the rails, slowly. And, yeah, I'm sorry, this wiener is just right in there, my face there. But I'm just go down for it. So, anyways, it's really complicated to know what to do, but you have to start with your feet. Work your way through your knees, make sure that your knees are doing good, make sure your hips are doing the right thing. If your hips are doing the right thing, you can start to work on your back and your chest and make sure your back is actually lifted back properly. So like a lot of people who have forward head posture also have forward chest posture like this because you sit like this on your phone and everything, or you sleep like that. I know that was definitely my problem, is I sleep really, really tucked in like this. And then of course my back is like really, really, really stretched out, which seems kind of weird because you like want to do a back massage because it feels good. Actually, you need to do the opposite. You need to like strengthen your back, get it tighter so you can loosen up your chest and everything and start to get that better posture going. So it's just so tricky. And can you do that all at once, all at the same time? It's literally like a multi-hour job every single day to be like, yes, I will fix my posture. It's so complicated. It's tricky. It's difficult to do. If it was that easy, everybody would just pop on it. So does that mean you don't do it? I don't know. I think you should try. I think you should try to do it. And if you're mildly successful, awesome. Maybe you can figure it out for yourself. Maybe you can get the right physical therapist or the right doctor to really help you and get you through it all. Fantastic. But doing nothing is definitely just going to make it worse or not help, I think. But getting back to the possible reason why this is all happening for Visual Snow, I think, personally, and I'm working this out as a theory, that it's definitely related to something blood flow related. Okay. I have obviously no proof. This is just a random hypothesis or theory, if I want to get fun with it. That it might be, one of these guys right here. It might be your jugular vein, which is the way that most of the blood is going to leave your brain here. Or it might be your one of your arteries that leads up to your brain. And really what I think is happening is I think that, and I don't want to get too deep into this, but I think that your neck muscles here, if I go back to unhide all, Your neck muscles, specifically, possibly the sternocleidomastoid or some of these other muscles, are overcompensating in some weird way, really getting tight, and or if you have panic attacks a lot and you have a lot of adrenaline rushes, those muscles are going to tighten up even more, especially the weird muscles that you're like can't get to. Okay, that's the main thing. Can't get to them. You can't stretch them out properly. You can't get. They just tightened up, even though they shouldn't have, and now you got a problem. Because adrenaline doesn't say, oh, just tighten up the muscles you actually need. It just tightens them all up. Just tightens them all up, you know? So when you have a panic attack or you have something like that happen, you're going to tighten up some weird butthole muscle in here that causes blood flow issues or maybe lymph issues, maybe CSF issues, whatever. But I think it's probably blood flow. It's going to crush that off a little bit, make it harder to get blood in your brain or out of your brain. And that can cause a lot of issues. You know, that's why you hear people talking about how it's like in a total brain disorder. It's not just like, oh, you have one area of your brain, right? It's messed up. It's really the entirety of your brain is getting messed up here. The problem is that the trigger might have already done that damage. And now you have to not only just fix the issue, but you have to wait for it to heal too. And for most people, it's going to heal up a lot. For most people, it's going to heal up enough where you can live a normal, relatively normal life. But even if you fix the issue, it may not cure your visual snow. That trigger might have done the damage already, and it may not just heal back up properly 100%. So you see it in a lot of people that they get healed up 100%. See a lot of people that they say that they were born like this, and that might be a thing too, that they went through puberty, they just don't remember before that, and you know maybe their muscles didn't grow properly at the same rate or whatnot. Maybe they had some sort of weird issue where they were too tight as a kid or a baby or something like that. They cut off that blood flow, caused that trigger to happen or that messed up thing to happen, and then they just can't really get cured. But I've seen a couple people say that they have the life version of visual snow. They've done something weird, a surgery or something like that with Eagle syndrome. It's gone away. So I'm hopeful that it can be cured by fixing the issue and waiting for it to heal on its own. Okay, that's my thoughts on it. I don't know that that's going to happen. But if you have all those tightness problems, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to start by loosening up your neck. Okay, gently loosen up your neck. Do what you got to do. Get more loosey-goosey. Stop having the stress. Start releasing the anxiety a little bit. And then also doing some exercise to keep the blood flow proper and also work on your posture a little bit. Because if you work on your posture a little bit, maybe those neck muscles can finally relax normally instead of forcing them to relax by stretching them. That's my thoughts on the matter. If this makes sense to you guys, feel free to leave a like. If it makes no sense to you, that's fine. That's cool. You can let me know why in the comments below. And honestly, I'm willing to learn. I am not 100% confident about any of this. But I believe things happen for a reason, and I've never seen this explanation before. So I wanted to at least bring it to light so maybe other smarter people can bring their own inputs on the situation and or think about it in a different way than what I've thought about it. But if you guys enjoyed, press that like button, subscribe, and of course have a super duper delicious day.